Hi, today we're going to be doing a review on one of my favorite new tools, which I thought I would hate. I'll tell you the truth. I thought I would actually hate this saw. It is the DCS 361 DeWalt 7 1/4 inch 20 volt chop saw, sliding chop saw. I'll tell you, when I first saw this, I said this is going to be a useless item that is never going to be used. Okay? I'll tell you right now, I end up using this more than I do my 12 inch because it is so easy and light to carry around. It weighs less than the stand I'm using to hold it up. This saw runs on the standard batteries, and I'll tell you right now, this battery, this is one of the 4 amp hour batteries that comes with it. Well, this is actually a 3 amp, but it comes with a 4, and it just runs all day easily. We built a little spec roof the other day just to kind of do some training with it. We're talking about hundreds of cuts with a 2x4. I don't want to get into numbers because all 2x4s are going to cut a little different, but I'll guarantee you're going to get 100 cuts out of this dang thing per battery. And frankly, the very first battery I bought with the saw, I've used and used and used, and I haven't had to charge it once. Saying that, I'm not using it constantly as a commercial framer. But I'm saying if you're building a shed, I think with 2 batteries, easily able to build a shed just fine, especially if you're doing 2x4 construction. I don't see any problem with that at all. And frankly, I think you could build probably a couple 12x12 sheds on 1 battery, is what I've kind of found. Saying that, that's the biggest thing I've noticed. The ability for this to be able to cut 2x8 lumber. So it will slide all the way out to cut 2x8 lumber. It cuts it, in my opinion, just as fast as any other saw. I mean, we're taking 2x4s, and I'm not slowing down. If I just wanted to chop it, I'm putting just as much pressure as I would on any other saw. Holds up very well for this range of saw, this size of saw. Now, it does come with one of their precision saw blades that's designed for this saw. I highly recommend doing that. The other thing that's kind of nice is it does have, which I think is underpowered, is their light system. That as you push it down, you can hit a little button on the top. It turns on a light internally. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but there's a light right here. That light turns on and casts a shadow down here. It works very well for this type of light, kind of darkish light. If you're out in the sun, it's not dark enough. Now, every time you hit it, it stays on for about 20 seconds, but it does give you a perfect angle. So if you're cutting inside, doing trim and things like that, it does work really well for this. It will cut. You are going to be able to cut 3.5 inch trim, but it will not cut a 2x4 all the way through. So that's kind of something to think about. So if you're doing trim work, it'll cut 3.5 inch trim, but it's not going to cut your really big trims unless you're laying it flat. Now, saying that, if you're doing a shed, you're using square stock. You're not using anything that you can't lay right here on the ground and cut it just fine. So kind of keep that in mind. Am I able to cut, thinner type applications? It has all your standard detents. I found it to be just as accurate as my full-size 12-inch saw. I actually like the dust collection a little better. It's one of the only saws I've ever seen that actually at the end of the day has sawdust in the bag. Your standard detents just as you would with your bigger saws. So if you already have the DeWalt saw, which is a great, any of their 10, 12-inch saws, all very similar. Same idea. You're pushing down with the detents. It's going to slide and click in, real positive clicks. And then to lock it down, you're just pushing. So no twisting knobs and all those kind of things. I got arthritis in my hands, so twisting is kind of one of the things I don't like to do. So just pushing down locks it in place nice and sturdy. They also have handles, so we can go ahead and pick it up real easy. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and open it up, lock it over, lock it down. I can pull the saw forward, lock it off, and it has a little clip in the back to make the slider not slide. It has a double trigger, so you don't have to worry about bumping the trigger unless you're actually having anything like this. we're going to go ahead and unlock it, ratchet it off, right around 31 pounds. So really easy to carry, and you can actually even carry it to the side. And this is one of the, instead of having to carry it with both hands, you can actually carry it with one hand. Makes it real nice, real easy to get in and out of the truck. Now, when I first bought it, like I said, I had the idea that this was not going to run. Now, you will notice, as I put it down here and locked it in place, that you need to dump the bag before you take it off, because it will, as you're traveling in this position, dump all the sawdust onto the table of the, you know, the standard fence there. So I tend to go ahead and just let it, you know, come, you know, when I'm using it, use it, and when I'm done at the end of the day, take it off and dump it before I pick it up and put it in the truck. Overall, a great saw. Didn't think I'd like it because of the size of the blade. I thought 7 1/4 blade, totally useless. And then I started thinking about it. All the years of framing I've done, I did with a 7 1/4 inch saw. So, you know, they had some older models out there that were just chop saws. And you'll see, I think Ryobi makes one and a couple other companies make them, where it's just chop. And that's fine if you're doing small trim jobs, square trim, squares in right now. But if you're using other types of trim, it's not really usable. Being able to be sliding, though, allows me to cut those 2x8 lumber. And in most of the smaller sheds and things you're going to be building, that's going to be fine. Dog houses, you're not using anything over 2x8 lumber. So for the average person, I think this is an easy buy. Being about, you know, the 349-ish range, mattering, you know, this was taken in early 2018. With the extra battery, comes with one 4-amp battery and the charger. I found this to be a great tool, and even if you do not have, like I said, most of the tools I keep in my truck every day are Milwaukee. I bought this with the battery just for this. There's about 3 tools I keep in my truck. A DeWalt jigsaw, the new DeWalt framing nail gun that's battery powered, and this. With those items right there, I can do most framing jobs, and then I use, which I unfortunately like, Milwaukee's 6.5 inch skill saw a little better, their fuel version, which I like a little better than the DeWalt, but overall, great tool, definitely recommend. The only drawback I have for the whole entire tool is the light. I wish they would have made the light more powerful. Other than that, it's a great tool. I definitely think anybody that's doing basic construction, home improvements, things like this, can't go wrong with this saw. So as always, have a great day.